It's time for Waking Up with Wesley. Today's forecast and weather-wide discussion with WLOX First Alert Weather Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams.
Hello there, South Mississippi, and thank you for waking up with Wesley. I'm Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams. So we are heading toward a cooler pattern as we go into the rest of the week, and that is hot on the heels of some kind of hot weather yesterday. Before we get to the future, let's take a brief moment and look back at the past. Speaking of the past, we got a time lapse of yesterday. Some Tuesday thunderstorms over Biloxi Back Bay. This time lapse was rolling in the Tuesday afternoon time frame. You can see some rain clouds as there were a few downpours there. High temperatures hit the lower 80s yesterday. Normal is 67, so it was near record territory. We actually had a record of, I believe, 80 was the record high from yesterday. Now what that shows is actually today's forecast, a 71 versus today's record of 83. But if I pull up the correct graphic, which will show yesterday's high temperature, that's what I really want to show you. And now I have it. So let's take a look. Yesterday, there's a look at the comparison. So we had a high of 80 degrees and the record high was 81. So yeah, we were only one shy away from that record high yesterday. Now, we were telling you yesterday in the Waking Up with Wesley video that there was a risk of severe weather. And I'm very happy to report that South Mississippi was spared from that. We were in the level 1, but you will recall there was a level 2 to our north, and that's where there were some reports of things like flooding, hail, wind damage, and even a tornado. All of those things were reported to the north of our Mississippi coast, but fortunately no reports of anything like that in our local area. If I get a counter on all of these, there were more than 40 reports. 2 of them tornado, 1 of them flash flooding, 2 of them hail, and more than 30 of them, basically around 40 of them, involving those strong thunderstorm winds, especially in areas in North Alabama where they had a very strong bow echo move through, and that caused some wind damage, widespread wind damage there. There were also a lot of rain showers. It was a wet Tuesday across the region. Some places in the middle of Mississippi and North Mississippi picked up some really hefty rain totals. If we get a counter on some of them, just take a look. More than 5 inches of rain in the northeastern corner of the state. Whereas in the local area, it was not quite as much. This was a look at yesterday's rain in South Mississippi. Looks like a place near Wiggins picked up more than 2 inches of rain. A place near Lucedale picked up around 1 inch of rain. Van Cleve also saw 1 to 2. Saussure also saw about 1 to 2 inches of rain, as well as the Kiln. But there were some places that did not get as much, and that was primarily near Gulfport, Biloxi, parts of D'Iberville, parts of Ocean Springs, Gulf Park Estates, and Goshen. Those areas did not get as much rain as everyone else. Basically, the stretch south of I-10 from Long Beach, Gulfport, all the way to Pascagoula, Goshen. Those were the places that saw the least amount of rain, basically less than a ½ inch in that area. So we're done talking about the past. Now let's focus on the present. What's happening today is drying out. And that's going to help our weather pattern to turn cooler into the next few days with the potential for frost. Here's a look at your Wednesday. If you're planning the day ahead, what do you have to get ready for today? The main thing I want you to take away is that it's going to be a breezy one. We are going to see those winds working hard, coming in from the north, 10 to 15 miles an hour with higher gusts at times. And that breeze is the thing that's responsible for pushing away the warm and muggy air from yesterday and pulling toward us some cooler, drier air from the north into the next few days. It's actually a 1-2 punch with this kind of series of cool fronts here. The front that is hitting Florida today, that's the one that hit us yesterday. And there's another front moving into Mississippi today that's going to get here on our coast by tonight. And that makes it even colder. So that's how we're going to see even colder weather. You can really see it. I think it's best shown on this temperature forecast map. for the high temperature, look at the highs in Florida today. They're in the 80s. So there's obviously a cold front separating their 80s from our 70s. So they'll get hit by the front and they'll get some 70s into tomorrow for Thanksgiving. But that front separates our temperature difference there. But there's another front, right? Because you can see how much cooler it is to our north. So there's one right here, and that's the one that's going to come for us as we go into tonight and Thanksgiving. It separates our 70s for highs today from Jackson's 60s, from Memphis's 50s for highs. So that's how the air is going to gradually turn cooler and cooler. And when you wake up tomorrow morning, you might really kind of need to bundle up. Look at what we're finding temperature-wise. We'll make this bigger on your screen so you can see some of these numbers. It's not before midnight. You know, here's your Wednesday evening and Wednesday night. We're looking at 50s and 40s. But then after midnight, which is also known as Thursday morning, we're expecting morning temperature tomorrow 39 inland, 40 on the coast. But the temperature only tells half the story because it's actually going to still have a little bit of a breeze on Thursday morning. And at those types of temperatures, it does not take much wind to cause a wind chill. So that's why I'm saying you might need to bundle up tomorrow morning if you're going to be out early Thursday morning, because look at these feels like temperatures, 6 in the morning on Thursday. The wind chill numbers into the lower 30s for some parts of South Mississippi. So we'll feel cold on Thursday morning. Even if the temperature is not all that cold, it will feel cold because of a little bit of a breeze. And as we go into your Thanksgiving planner, it will be so beautiful tomorrow. Today we actually have a mix of sun and clouds, but tomorrow is probably going to be a crystal clear sky. So basically nothing but sun on Thursday. And as the sky clears, we'll get all that sun, looking beautiful, temperatures reaching the 60s. So if you are planning to do some travel for Thanksgiving, the roads are dry today. The roads will be dry again tomorrow, and you'll have nothing but sun, no inclement weather for travel. We are expecting highs in the 60s tomorrow, and then it starts to cool off in the evening, finding 50s. And we got to talk about the frost possibility. So there's a look at Thursday night, and you can see in the evening it's already going to be chilly. We're seeing some middle 40s on Thanksgiving evening, but then after midnight Thursday night, which is also called Friday morning, Black Friday morning, we're expecting temperatures to fall into the 30s eventually. And once we get close to the middle 30s, that's when you start to open the door for frost potential. In order for frost to form, you need at least 3 ingredients. You need cold temperatures in the middle 30s or colder. You need a mostly clear sky. And you also need to have the winds basically near calm. And I think that those ingredients all come together mainly north of Interstate 10 on Friday morning. So this map shows you where the best chance of finding frost on your car windshield when you're trying to head out early for perhaps some Black Friday morning shopping. We're expecting a pretty good chance of finding frost on the car windshield, Picayune and Poplarville. Pretty good chance of it, Lucedale, Van Cleve, Hurley, and probably a pretty good chance of it as well, Wiggins toward Perkinston and Saucier. Where there probably won't be as good of a chance of finding frost will be for areas closer to the water. So anywhere near the body of water that sits close to Waveland, Diamond Head Bay, St. Louis, Pass Christian. And also anyone near the other body of water, Biloxi Back Bay, that sits near Biloxi, D'Iberville, St. Martin, Ocean Springs. So those will be places that maybe there's not as much frost, but you do want to be mindful that, again, there's going to be some places that you wake up to some Black Friday morning frost. Pretty good probability of that in parts of our coast. So putting it all together for you in the 7-day forecast, weather stays nice and dry today, tomorrow, and Black Friday, which is exactly what you want to see with travel into Thanksgiving and travel right after Thanksgiving. Now, if you wait too late to travel after Thanksgiving, we do reintroduce some rain chances. Those primarily begin around Saturday night and will likely continue into Sunday and Monday of next week. So what that looks like on our rain chance planner, rain chance for all the days and nights coming over the next 7 days. it looks like this, where we pretty much have no rain chance at all in the short term for Thanksgiving time frame. Saturday still looks like a mostly dry day. I think we'll see an increase in cloud cover ahead of the rain system, but then the rain system begins to move in overnight into Sunday, and we'll see periods of rain showers at times Sunday and to early next week. And if you're wondering, we do have this cool down on the way. I want to show you this trend. This will be the last thing I show before I go, of the high temperatures. So notice that this could be one of the last times, folks, today, Wednesday, November 26th, the last time we have a high above 70, right? Look at the next 10 days. We come close on Sunday, but for the most part, most of the upcoming days for the next 10 days, you might not be able to go back to above 70, which is actually normal. Our normal for late November, early December is around 67. So to be in the 70s is actually above normal, whereas it's more typical to find highs in the 60s, and that's what we find for a large portion of the next 10 days. Most of the days will be in the 60s. Now, there is apparently some point next week when maybe we find a really chilly day on the 3rd of December, 57, but that's not set in stone. There's a lot in flux in the long-range forecast at this point, with our models showing some uncertainty. But just wanted to give you a heads up that there do not appear to be any major warm-ups. I know we just came off of a bit of a warm spell, but as we move into late November and early December, it looks like the general trend is not going to find any kind of major warm temperatures. Will just kind of be more traditionally cooler temperatures into the next 7 days. Well, that'll do it for today's edition of Waking Up with Wesley. I've been Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams, and I hope that you have a happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you again next time.
Thank you for watching Waking Up with Wesley with WLOX First Alert Weather Senior Meteorologist Wesley Williams.